Today's lesson, we are going to still be looking at exponent rules, but today we are going to be looking at a brand new exponent rule that you've never seen before. However, you do know how to do the math on this. So we are going to be looking at what is called a rational exponent. And rational exponents for us just mean that our exponent is a fraction, not our base is a fraction. We've had that before, but no, this time it's going to be the exponent that is a fraction. And so if the exponent is a fraction, the denominator, this value right here, is telling you the root that we're going to take. So it says the denominator, we're just going to say this in our own words, denominator tells us the root we are finding when exponent is a fraction. And at the beginning of this unit, we looked at finding roots, like the square root and the cube root. So we're still going to be doing that. It's just going to be written a different way than what we're used to. So here are some examples. Okay, so on example 1, this is saying, okay, do the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. It's saying do the cube root of 64. And what number times itself is 64. That's what cube root means. And that would be 4. And so if it's written this way, this is just saying, okay, what is the 4th root of 81? And if you're not for sure, I always like to break it into, okay, I know 81 is 9 times 9, and then I know 9 is 3 times 3, and 3 times 3, so I can easily see, oh, it takes 3 to the 4th power to make 81, so the 4th root is 3. Okay, now if it's written in this form, we can turn it from this form into exponent form. So 37 is going to be our base. If we don't see a number out here, that is a square root. So 37 to the 1/2 is how we would write it with a rational exponent. This is saying the 4th root, so that would be y to the 1/4. And this is going to be 12 to the 1/6, x to the 1/6, y to the 1/6. So that's one way to write it. You could have also said, okay, it's 12xy to the 1/6, but then you would know you would need to distribute the 1/6 to everything. All right, let's look at our other version. So the first part is still going to stay the same. So the denominator is the root. But now our numerator in our exponent is no longer a 1. And that numerator is telling us the power that we're going to raise it to. So if exponent is a fraction, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make it go smaller. So first you're going to do the denominator, which is your root. So then you're going to get that number smaller. Then once you have that, you have a second step that we didn't have before, because on our last set of examples, the numerator was always 1. So 3 to the 1st power is 3. 5 to the first power is 5, so we didn't have to worry about it. But now that that numerator is no longer a 1, the second thing we're going to do is now we're going to look at that numerator. And the numerator is the power that we have to take it to. So let's go ahead and try these. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to go cube root of 27. And then there's one extra step after we find that. Now we're going to take that to the second power. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. The cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And now we've got 3 to the second power, so that's that one extra step we didn't have to do before. And 3 to the second power is 9. All right, let's try the next one. This is saying take the square root of 100, and then we're going to take that to the third power. Well, the square root of 100 is 10, and then we've got to do 10 times 10 times 10, and 10 to the third power is 1,000. All right, let's try the next one. We are going to do the cube root of 64, and then we're going to take that to the negative second power. So the cube root of 64 is 4, and then we've got 4 to the negative second power, and so that's how we're going to get 1/16. All right, let's look at the last set. We've got our base. We know we have a fraction exponent. The root is the denominator. The power is the numerator. And there's our simplified answer. All right, we're going to do the same thing. The root is our denominator. The power is our numerator. And now we're just going to go ahead and simplify. We can't do anything with 3 over 7, but we can do something with 14 over 7. So this simplifies to x squared y to the 3/7. All right, last problem. We have 8. We have x, we have y. We have the cube root, so that is our denominator on each part. Then we're going to come in and we have to the first power, to the 9th power, and to the 21st. So now we're going to go ahead and simplify. The cube root of 8 is 2. And then we have x, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. So 2x cubed, y to the 7th. All right, that is the end of today's lesson.